Hi there, just before the next video starts, I just wanted to mention that you now have an opportunity to do a bit of sponsorship with AJ, yours truly here. So basically everybody's been on at us to get better kit, get better recording equipment, get better visual equipment to give you a better video quality. And at the end of the day, that's really what we're trying to do all the way along. So I thought the only way we can do this is to set up a Patreon account and a PayPal one-off donation account. So if you fancy offering us a couple of pennies or even a couple of pounds if you're feeling flush, then please go to AJ the Player YouTube channel, and on the top right hand side you will find a little button, and there's one says PayPal and the other one says Patreon. If you click either one of those, you can make a little donation. One's a more regular donation and the other one's a one-off. If you don't have a PC or access to a PC, it's even more simple on your tablet or on your mobile. Just scroll across to the About button on the top there, and you'll see immediately there's two little links to either the Patreon or the PayPal account. I really appreciate your time in listening to me. This is not a begging situation, it's just saying, well, if you want to help out, then please feel free to do so. Thanks, and enjoy the next video. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Player YouTube channel, and you join me today in a beautiful location in the UK. It's called BLENHEIM Palace. This was the birthplace of Sir Winston Churchill, a very famous gentleman. And today we're at the Salon Prive, which showcases classic cars, supercars, and they bring out new cars here. So we're going to show you a couple of exclusives as well. Join me on a little tour around this show, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. Okay, so here we are at Salon Prive, and I'm with a gentleman called Gary Slater. And hi Gary, thanks for taking the time
Very
to
welcome. Nice to show you around the aircraft.
Show us your big chopper,
Our
your
505 helicopter. Absolutely.
A Bell 505.
Yeah.
So give me some stats on this.
So this is our new version of an aircraft we produced for 50 years called the 206 Jet Ranger.
Right.
Everybody would know it and love it.
Yeah.
So this is our new version, more power, more speed, more people, more payload, more fuel, better at everything that the 206 did.
Right.
So you can take yourself, if you're a pilot,
Yep.
4 of your mates, to 130 knots, so close on 160 miles an hour.
Wow.
Stay in the air for 2 hours 45, so up to Scotland.
So you
Or your
all the way
luggage
to
in the back.
Scotland?
Yeah, easy. I mean, you always take fuel where you can,
Yeah.
but this will get up to Scotland on one fuel.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So you can land at your golf clubs, favourite
Yeah.
restaurant, your mate's garden.
Can you get your clubs in here though?
Yep, so we have a big boot to the side.
A big boot, I love it.
Get your golf clubs in there.
Oh wow.
So all the way through to the other side.
Yeah, so you can slide at least 2 sets.
Yep,
Probably
you
get
can
4
also
sets in there.
store under the back seats.
Yeah, I see that in there, yeah.
So bags of storage. So
And this is for 4 passengers?
yeah,
and,
one pilot, 4 passengers.
Yeah. I've got to ask, because, I mean, I've been in helicopters and I've been a passenger and I've had a little go.
Yep.
What, is this one easier to fly than other helicopters?
So this is
or-
like your modern car.
Right.
So everything's digital in this. It's not an analog aircraft, it's digital.
Okay.
So it's glass screens, there's no old steam-driven gauges. This is your modern
Steam-driven
helicopter.
gauges, I love it.
This has a computer that manages the fuel flow, the RPM,
Yeah.
so it's a world away from the older stuff where you controlled everything by throttle.
Yes, yeah.
This does everything for you. So if you want the most modern, easiest with the glass screens, this is the guy you want to show up with.
Wow. So, and this would be like probably, if you were looking at cars, where would this sit in the car range? Would it be sort of upper Audi
Oh,
level?
it's
BMW?
above that. It's
All right, okay.
Yeah, it's high end.
So we're
Definitely
talking Bentley.
Absolutely.
Okay. Price-wise, what would one of
So
these
for a
cost?
nice one with some leather and a few toys on, you're talking about 1.2, 1.3 sterling.
Really?
Which you think about some high-end cars, you're still stuck in
Yeah.
traffic in a car.
Well,
no matter how dear it is.
Yeah, I was
still
thinking
sits in
300,
traffic.
400 grand for a Cullinan, for example, Rolls-Royce
Yeah,
Cullinan.
yeah.
2 of them, you've got one of these.
And this flies.
This flies over the traffic.
And wherever you go, whatever restaurant or golf club, you pull up in your Bentley or your Lamborghini, you turn up in this,
Yeah.
you own the show.
No brainer.
That's where you're going to be.
Well, I want to take a look inside.
Sure.
So
We can do that.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut there and then
Okay.
let you guys just take a quick edit break. And Gary and I are going to jump in there, and Gary's going to tell me a bit more about what goes on in there. Right, so here we are, Gary,
Yep.
sat inside this
You're
Bell
in the hot
helicopter.
seat. You're in the pilot seat.
Ah, this is the pilot seat.
You are in the pilot seat. But actually, this aircraft, unlike many others, you can fly this from left or the right. Captain can sit either side, but
I was going to say,
generally
in a fixed wing, normally left-hand side is skipper,
yeah,
isn't
they
it?
always do things differently. There's no explanation for that.
It's very comfortable.
Seats are great, so nasty subject, but all the seats are crash-worthy seats. So should the worst happen, like a modern car, all your safety features are built in. These are the glass screens we were talking about. So instead of lots of gauges that you see on lots of old aeroplanes and helicopters, we've got rid of all that. It's just now on 2 screens.
It's like 2 big iPads.
If you can turn a set of headlights on in a car, you can start this helicopter.
Seriously?
Seriously. I could, if we weren't here, I could give you a 5-minute brief and talk you through, and you could start this helicopter. That's how easy it is.
It's like...
You don't look as cool anymore because there's not lots of buttons and everything. But
yeah, it's like...
So it's just this switch down here.
That's it.
That's the start-up switch.
Wow. So it's almost just like having a set of keys, getting in and going...
That's exactly it. And then the FADEC, which is the computer part of the engine, that takes care of all the fuel flow, so you just sit back and watch us start up.
So I could almost program this to take off and fly me somewhere.
Well, we've got one coming over in a couple of months, which is the next generation of them here. It looks the same aircraft, but it's got an autopilot, and we can go from our kitchen with our iPad, Bluetooth our flight to the screen, we'll talk to the autopilot, and then we can go off and fly the route.
That is absolutely
small
amazing.
helicopter, I mean, that's a great feature. Big helicopters don't have that feature, you know.
No, it's absolutely stunning. And it's just, everything just
and you're
looks...
all in the same place. All your friends or your family, you're all sitting in the same place. There isn't a partition or a bulkhead, you know, you're all in the same area, chatting to each other.
Yeah.
Visibility's great.
Is it very noisy? Because I know when I've been in helicopters, you have to wear the headphones.
You have to wear headphones. I mean, you've got to go to a really big helicopter to not wear headphones.
Yeah.
But we always put Bose in, which have got noise cancelling, and you
Sure,
put your music through, and it's all very civilised, you know.
On the crash statistics types, I mean, how safe are helicopters?
The most dangerous bit about flying a helicopter is driving to the hangar to pick it up.
Okay.
Once you're in the air, if you maintained your car and you maintained your driving skills the way that pilots do and helicopters are maintained, you'd never crash and you'd never break down.
Yeah, that's true.
You train for emergencies every year. You have a test every year to make sure you're still up to scratch, you know what you're doing. And helicopters are way over maintained. So every moving part has a life limit of either hours or years.
Right.
And when it's due to come off, even though it looks brand new, you take it off and it's finished. You put a new one on.
Put a new one on. Yeah. Well, it's pretty much like you say, if you service your car regularly.
It'd never break down, would it?
Yeah. Change your oil. Yeah. New brake pads. You're always going to be able to stop.
Exactly it.
Occasionally, you might have a little skid.
But no, I've had a helicopter licence since I was 18. And
right. I gathered you sort of flew these things.
Yeah. No, I've got many hours in lots of types, but this is one of my favourite.
What makes a Bell different from, say, one of the other types of helicopters available?
Well, I've been a career pilot, so I've flown all the other manufacturers' types, and without running any of those down.
Sure.
What I've always loved about the Bell product, whatever you do, she'll talk to you all the time.
Right.
And it will always start, and it'll always get the job done, and it'll always get you home.
Right.
And that's from the oldest ones they've made to the most modern. There's something about a Bell product, it's just got pedigree, it really has.
I think that just simply sums this whole product up, doesn't it, in a way?
It does indeed.
Well, it's been absolutely lovely chatting.
Been good to talk to you.
About, really great. And
shame we can't take you flying.
I was going to say, it's a shame, guys, I'm really sorry we can't take you up in this today, but I'm sure at a later date we might get the opportunity. You never know.
We can do that.
Gary Slater, thank you very much indeed. Appreciated a bit of COVID.
There you
go, keeping it friendly. And guys, don't forget, if you like what you're watching, AJ the Player on YouTube. Check it out. I'll catch you later. Guys, guess what? I am here with none other than David Brabham himself. David, lovely to meet you.
Andy.
And the Brabham car. Now, if you haven't seen this before, you're going to learn something now. David, tell me about this car. It's absolutely stunning.
Oh, thanks, Andy. Yeah, this is the Brabham BT62R.
Right, yeah.
And the R means the road car compliant of our ultimate track car that we launched a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And that car was really designed to break lap records, have a driver development program, really just for the track.
Nothing to do with the road then?
Nothing to do with the road, no.
Okay.
And then people came to us and said, look, can we race it? Can we put it on the road? So we looked into it.
Yeah.
And here you are. We've now got the road compliant conversion of the Brabham BT62 track car. So yeah, street legal version of it.
Street legal version, I love it. I mean, who actually designed this? Did you have a say in the design, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a combination of different people that from designers for road cars, but also engineers to get performance on the track. So the function, the form needed to be really important in terms of its look, and I think we got a fantastic look out of it.
Just a bit.
Yeah, exactly. But we also got incredible performance. When you think about it, this car, the ultimate track car, is 972 kilograms dry weight.
Yep.
So well under a ton.
Yeah.
700 horsepower from a 5.4 litre Brabham V8. 1,200 kilos of downforce at like 160 mile an hour. So it was designed to be not only look great, but actually really perform on the track.
Yeah.
And having been a racing driver for like 35 years and raced at Le Mans many times and worked with many drivers, it was really important that we had a car that someone could just jump in and feel comfortable straight away.
And were you the test driver of this?
Yeah, I met myself, and we had some others as well that have different opinions, and we were obviously interested to hear what they had to say as well.
Yeah.
And when journalists got into the track car, everyone has just raved about it, and customers who came in to try it just couldn't believe how easy it was to drive at speed. So it's great to see the evolution now to the road car compliant.
I was about to say, the evolution from that track car is incredible, because obviously you've had to add a lot of stuff onto this to make it comfortable, stuff you wouldn't normally have in a race car.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. We wanted to keep the racing kind of DNA in the vehicle.
Yeah.
And obviously there are some comforts as well as some legal stuff that we needed to do as well. From an aerodynamic point of view, we've had to change the front splitter, the rear diffuser, the rear wing's smaller. Everything's kind of gone a little bit more compact, and we've got lifters on the front and the rear to lift the car up over humps.
Speed humps.
Speed humps, exactly. As well as keeping it low for when people want to drive it to the track and drive it there.
So is that the idea of this car, that you can use it as a road car, drive down to the track, put the slicks on, bang, away you go, you do your setups?
And you can keep the Goodyear Eagles on as they are, because these are a track and road type car, tyre. Yeah.
So it's the engine that you developed. It's the V8, and it's mid-mounted, I presume.
Yeah, it just sits in the back here. It's obviously mid-engine, and it's 700 horsepower that drives to the rear wheels. And when we developed it, it was off an OEM manufacturer, and then they said, you've modified it too much for us, you've got to call it something else, so we call it a Brabham V8.
I love it. Well, what better name to give an engine like that?
Yeah.
I think it's stunning. Where's the car manufactured? Here in the UK, or?
Yeah, the company's based in Adelaide, Australia.
Oh, in Australia,
and
okay.
That's where the manufacturing is happening at the moment, yeah.
And how many of these are you going to be producing?
Yeah, so we're only doing a limited edition of 70 vehicles of the BT62.
Right, okay.
With the 3 different variants, the race car, the ultimate track car, and the BT62R, which is obviously the road compliant.
Okay.
And then we're working on the next vehicle, which will be a fully homologated road car.
Okay,
Supercar.
So there's another car
so you'll
on.
see the DNA of this vehicle follow through to the next one. So it's nice to see the progression from where we were with the track car to now putting it on the road, and then next year people will see what we're doing with the new road car.
Well, I think it's absolutely stunning. Do you mind me asking, how much would I have to pay you to take this away today?
This particular one is $850.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not
plus
bad.
taxes.
I've got a tenner on
Yeah,
it.
you got a tenner, have you?
Yeah, if you want
I'm
it.
not sure that's enough, but and then we have another option at 1.15 if you're interested in that as well.
1.15 million UK.
Yeah.
I think that's a small price to pay for such a unique car, David.
Thank
honestly.
you.
I think it's an absolutely stunning car. And I think, guys, you probably agree with me. It's pretty one-off, isn't it? Same as this gentleman here. Let's go carry on and see what else we can find. Thank you, David,
Thanks,
for your
Andy.
time. Really appreciate
Cheers,
it. every now and then you come across something a little bit different. And I'm with this lovely lady, her name is Momo.
Yes.
Hello, Momo.
Hello.
And this is the Aspark.
Yeah.
And it's electric.
Yes, fully electric.
Fully electric. So you have to plug it in.
Yes. Yeah, plug is here.
Where's the plug?
Yeah, here.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
So there's a plug there.
Yes.
I love it.
Yep.
And how far will it go until I need to plug it in again?
So it's for, so you mean charge?
The distance, yeah, the range.
Range is more than 400.
400 miles?
Yes.
That's amazing. And how fast does this car go?
The car is, you mean acceleration?
Yes.
Yes, acceleration is, we have the test recently.
Yeah.
And the test was 0 to 6 miles per hour was 1.72 seconds.
Sorry, 1.72.
Yes.
And
correct.
your face is like this.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
How can a car go that fast?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And what's the top speed?
Top speed is more than 400. We are still testing, but
400 kilometers an hour.
yes.
That's just mad. But who designed this car? Where did the design?
Our CEO.
Ah, the man over there,
Yes.
who's not going to be on camera.
Yeah.
That's okay. So the man who designed this, I mean, it must be a vision, something
Yes.
he's dreamed of, I presume.
He have the vision, and
Yeah.
our designer painted. Yeah.
I understand, yeah. So can we see inside?
Yes, of course.
Watch this, guys. This has got gold. It's got to have gold wings. Of course it has. Look, how stunning is that? Wow. So how much does the car weigh?
Sorry?
How heavy is the car?
Our heavy is around 2,000.
2,000 kilos?
Yes.
Okay, so about 2 tons.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it's quite heavy. And where is the battery?
Body is here
In the back?
in the back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And the battery, if after say 10 years, do I need to change the battery?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
so it doesn't last forever.
Yes. But
That's sad.
normal cars, yeah, like that.
How many cars will you build?
We already
Yeah, already.
we have the 5 cars.
5 cars,
Five
yeah.
cars.
Yeah,
yes. And this is the first one.
Yeah.
For the Japanese customer.
And you are from Japan.
Yes.
It's a Japanese
Yes.
car. Amazing. Absolutely amazing car. I think it's beautiful to look at.
Yes.
Incredibly powerful.
Yes.
And will there be many more cars built? You're going to build more cars?
Yes, we have the limited.
Yeah.
50
50
hours.
cars.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's incredible, Momo. I love it. And I love your name as well. It's a very great name, Momo. I think that's really cool. You know there's a steering wheel called a Momo.
Yeah.
You
yes,
know that?
I know that. Yes.
So you're named after the steering wheel of a racing car. It doesn't get much better, guys. Check it out, you know. Right, thanks for that. We're going to crack on and show you a bit more. Momo, thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Thank you. One of the best things about Salon Prive is you end up with 2 cars you would probably never see together in a million years. The Zonda F and the Senna McLaren. Absolute ultimate cars. Yet again, walking around at Salon Prive, I bump into a gentleman who happens to be the owner of this car, and you're probably going, what is it? Well, is it a car? Is it Mr. Engler?
Hi.
Fantastic, and this is an Engler.
It is, yes.
I'm pleased you named it after yourself.
Of course.
That's top man, I
Yeah,
love it.
I was thinking about the name for quite a while. They say, well, just don't make it like everybody else does, you know.
Why not? I love it. I think the name is great.
Everybody says it's a name for the car
Yeah.
or for the vehicle, so.
But you've
Yeah.
got the perfect name for a car. It's an Engler.
Yeah.
There you go, see? I couldn't do that with my name. It just don't work.
Okay.
Don't ask. So what is this? Is this a motorbike? Is it a car? I mean,
This vehicle, it's so unique that it falls into known category.
No.
So we've created our own
Yeah.
and call it Superquad.
Superquad.
Yeah, like a quad bike, because the
Yeah.
way you sit on it,
Yeah, yeah.
you don't have a steering wheel, you have a handlebars.
Yeah.
You ride it, don't drive it. And so we thought, what are you going to call it? It doesn't fall anywhere, so let's make our own. So we call it Superquad.
Superquad. And this Superquad, what is the engine?
The engine inside is 5.2 litre V10.
Sorry, 5.2 litre V10.
5.2 litre V10.
Okay.
The same engine you can find in Lamborghini Huracan or
So
Audi
basically,
R8.
this is a Lamborghini Huracan with handlebars.
Yeah, but it's about 400 kilos lighter and about 400 horsepower more.
So how many horsepower?
It has 1,100 horsepower and 1,100 kilos. So we reached the mythical 1-to-1 power-to-weight ratio.
You have.
Yeah, the top speed is 217 miles per hour and 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds.
I'm speechless. For the first time in the whole day,
Thank
I am
you.
absolutely speechless.
Thank you, thank you.
But what's it like to drive? Because obviously you've designed this to drive on the road.
Yeah.
It's not a track car, surely.
You can drive it on the road as well. We take it on the road on Sunday after Salon Prive. It's fun. It's really definitely something different, especially when you have such a massive amount of horses behind your back controlling it with the throttle. It's big, so it's a different feeling, but it's nice. It's
but
really...
is it heavy to turn?
No, it has a power steering, it's electric power steering.
Okay.
So which is it's changing its assistance by the speed. So faster you go,
the lighter.
less is helping less.
I imagine the heavier it gets.
Yeah, it gets heavier, exactly. Yeah. So it's very easy to drive, and you can drive it normally like any other vehicle, and you can have lots of fun taking a truck or.
What about gears?
German Autobahn.
Does it have a gearbox?
It has a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox.
Right.
So it's automatic, and it has also paddle shifters. This one is a prototype.
Okay.
So the function, the vehicle for the customers will be slightly different, and we'll have this one doesn't have a paddle shifters, but the one for the vehicle will.
Yeah. But
For the customer, sorry.
And on the top there, that's an LED screen, or?
Yes, there's a LED screen where you can see, it's a dashboard, but you can see your speed, your RPM, your fuel consumption. You can change the different modes, you can have it personalized.
Yeah.
It shows you, it works as a normal dashboard.
So where do the passengers go?
The ones, they're in the center, and the one behind the other.
So it's like a pillion,
Yeah.
but just behind the other one.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to be sat behind there at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, me neither, because I only trust myself when I'm driving it.
That's where the wife goes.
Yeah.
Where did the wife go?
Oh, she's gone. She's gone.
So where do you put your luggage? Is there a
Luggage compartment in the front.
Oh, okay.
It's quite spacious. You can fit a small bag there, 2 helmets. It's quite generous size.
Yeah, because
it's
quite wide, isn't it?
Mm.
So absolutely incredible piece of machinery. How many of these are you going to produce, or is it just the one?
We're planning to make 10 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thinking about 50 maybe, and then that's it. Very, very limited production because it's all handmade, except of the engine, transmission, lights. The rest is done by us or exclusively for us. So everything is handmade, personalized. Customer can have anything, can have it in a different color, any leather. Like for example, the badges on the wheel are made of 18 karat gold. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's. Yeah.
And where are these made?
They are finalized. They are made in England.
Yeah.
I'm from Slovakia, so we do some parts in Slovakia, some parts in Czech Republic, some are made in Germany, but the final assembly is in the UK.
Fantastic. Well, Mr. Engler, thank you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
A hell of an amazing experience to see such an Engler car. There you go. An Engler
Superquad.
Superquad.
Yes.
There you go. I got it right. Makes a change, guys.
See?
Thank you, Mr. Engler.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Guys, again, what more can I say? It just gets better and better. Let's keep going. Okay, so here we are with Ollie Smith from Twisted. And Twisted, normally, Ollie, are associated with some proper off-road Defenders, four-wheel drive truck type things. But this isn't quite the norm, is it? What have you got here?
Well, it's different in one major way. But fundamentally, one thing we were very, very keen on is making sure that it would still do everything that you would expect a Defender to do.
Yes.
So obviously the major change, as you would notice, is no turbo diesel, no petrol, electric.
And that is a big electric motor.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's a big vehicle, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. I mean, this what weighs best part 2.5 tons, I would have thought.
Yeah, around that. We're quite fortunate in the way that the addition of all the kind of EV equipment to the motor and the batteries doesn't sort of penalise it, and where we've placed the batteries as well means that weight distribution is pretty good, so you're not kind of going to find it doing anything sort of strange when you end up putting it into a corner.
Where are the batteries?
So the batteries are underneath the chassis outriggers either side.
Oh, okay.
And also in place of where the fuel tank would have been.
Gotcha. Yeah. And how, I mean, are they big? The lithium batteries, I presume?
Yeah, they are, yeah. One thing we were quite keen to do, as you may or may not know, cabin space is kind of at a premium with Defender.
Yeah.
So we were keen to sort of mount them somewhere where they wouldn't encroach on basically the passenger area, yeah.
And what about, I mean, all this gubbins at the front here? I love that word, gubbins.
Lots of gubbins.
My dad used to use that word. All this gubbins at the front here is basically the motor that drives the, and I presume it is still a four-wheel drive, isn't it, obviously?
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to what we were saying about keeping it inherently Defender, one of the things we were very keen to do when we set about basically getting this conversion developed, we didn't really want to be using sort of salvaged Tesla parts or any existing things that were on the market. So what we have is a vehicle, basically, we remove the internal combustion engine.
Yes.
We get rid of all the ancillaries underneath the bonnet. We take the gearbox out, but the crucial thing is we do keep the transfer case. So you've still got high range, you've still got low range, you've still got diff lock. So it will still do what a Defender needs to do.
Gotcha.
Now within that, we've also got certain modes as well on the powertrain. So we've got sport mode, and then we've got your sort of economy / comfort everyday mode.
Yep.
We've got towing mode, and we've also got off-road mode as well.
Towing mode?
Towing mode.
I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So
got to have it for your horse box.
Well, the nice thing about this is you've got a linear torque curve, so you've got all of your pull from zero, basically. And one other thing we've done as well is we've increased the wading depth from 500 mil up to 900 mil now.
I was going to ask about this going in water. Because let's face it, this has got batteries. They don't mix well with water.
Well, I had a client say to me, he does a lot of salmon fishing up in Scotland, and he said, look, if I drive through a river, is it going to end up in a shower of sparks and lots of floating fish around me? And I said, well, we're quietly confident that's not going to be the case, but if it does, it saves you having to stand on the riverbank.
And not that I'm a range anxietist, but range, what is the range on this?
So this surprises people a little bit.
Yeah.
So on the 90, the short wheelbase, we're looking at just over 200 miles. And on the 110, we're looking at just over 250.
Wow.
Yeah, so people think obviously with a larger vehicle you tend to get less, but it's super simple. We've got more physical capacity to bolt batteries to it.
Now, I've driven all the Teslas, and I've driven a number of other electric cars.
Yeah.
They're generally very, very swift off the mark because there are no gears as such, whereas this one, I presume, does have gears because of the off-road capability?
So the gearing basically is taken care of through the transfer box, but as far as speeds go, it is a single speed.
Same as all the other electric vehicles.
That's exactly that, yeah. So again...
is it rapid?
Yeah, it's got some punch off the line, for sure. And again, it all comes back to that sort of torque curve, that you've got everything from zero all the way up through.
Yeah.
Because this is the very final prototype version we've got, it's similar kind of feel to what I would probably say a very well sorted TD5 or 2.2 diesel. So we're producing about sort of 214 horsepower. But one thing you do see, which is markedly increased, is 380 newton meters of torque.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a step up torque-wise. But because we're not looking at stratospheric figures for that, it does mean that we can retrospectively put this conversion on an existing vehicle without having to really go into it and completely change the whole thing.
So you still need a donor vehicle for this?
For sure, yeah.
And then, so you get your donor vehicle, you come to Twisted, and Twisted go, right, leave it with us for the next however many weeks. We'll convert it all for you, and then you deliver it back and...
Yeah, it's exactly that. So say, for instance, you've got a vehicle already, or you'd like us to source a vehicle for you.
Yeah.
Bring it to us. 2 weeks to carry out the conversion.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty fast kind of turnaround. And then when you come and collect it, you've got a fully ULEZ, fully congestion charge compliant vehicle.
That's absolutely amazing. Now, I know you said to me we're going to have a little run round in this so I can get an idea of what it sounds like and feels like. So, guys, we'll do that in a minute. But just before we do that, I've got one more question. How much does one of these cost?
Okay, so if you want to get the conversion done and you've already got a vehicle, you're looking at $69,950 plus VAT for the conversion.
For the conversion itself, yeah.
One thing we do find quite a lot of clients will do is they'll come to us and they'll say, look, I want the conversion, but actually can you add a few other sort of bits and pieces? So we've got signature kind of upgrades and developments that we do. So big one is soundproofing.
Yeah.
Even with EV, it's still an important thing because obviously it reduces wind noise.
Yeah.
And then you change the rubber door seals because famously Defenders do leak a bit of water. We
Yeah,
don't,
just
we
a
don't want
little
any of that. Yeah. And then they'll go, well, okay, so I want upgraded seats or I want extended leather. So yeah, it's a bit of a pick and choose,
whatever.
for sure.
One last thing. Does it have to be a new Defender, or can you bring in your old Defender, for example? One of the,
So the beauty of Land Rover Defender, I think it was probably from the mid-'80s when this sort of shape came out.
Yeah.
Is chassis-wise, it can be done.
Okay.
It can be
so
done.
even if you've got an old Defender and you think like, well, it's been stuck in the barn for the last, I don't know how many years, let's pull it out the barn, give it to Twisted, and they'll convert it for you.
Yeah.
And you've got a fully electric Land Rover.
We'll only charge you to scrub the algae off the roof.
On that note, guys, let's get in and have a little test drive and show you what it goes like. Right, so here we go. It's like an absolute massive electric go-kart.
It's an unusual experience for sure.
It is, it's just, no, I was waiting for that.
Yeah, it is an unusual experience.
Are we going to knock the cones down?
Have a look at this.
Brilliant.
We're okay. Nice thing about a Defender is, despite the fact they look quite large, they're actually quite narrow.
Yeah, that is true. We can run a few pensioners over. There's plenty of them about today.
Well, they won't hear us coming anyway.
That is the problem, isn't it? With EVs, you don't hear it coming, and something this large.
Well, that is a factor for sure. I think certain companies are looking at adding kind of auxiliary sort of sound units on them and things like that, so that people do hear them coming. But
yeah,
a large percentage of where our inquiries have come from is central London, because people are wanting to kind of combat ultra low emission zone congestion charge and things like that.
Of course, yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, for that application, it's absolutely ideal.
Yeah.
And with the range that we've got, I mean, you're looking at charging it probably once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Especially in town, yeah. You're only going to be using it like once a day, maybe to do the school run or down to the supermarket or whatever. I tell you what, it's quite surprising that the noise. I mean, expected it to be that sort of typical buzz that you get from an electric motor.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near as bad up front here as what I thought it was going to be. I thought you'd hear a lot more.
No, it's pretty good, to be fair. It's pretty good. And again, because we're kind of considering this is sort of late stage prototype as well, so not a million miles from the finished article. We're very happy with it.
And obviously with the fuel gauge, you change that to an amp meter or something?
Yeah, so what we've got here, we've got on the right hand side, you've got a speedo.
Yeah.
On the left hand side, you've got your battery percentage gauge that shows you percentage charge remaining.
Okay. Here we go. We're going off road.
We've also got an auxiliary screen in here which tells you in actual sort of miles what your range is left, but that will eventually end up being mounted on the centre console, so you don't have to sort of look down to get to it. And then you've got battery temperature and you've got motor temperature as well.
But everything else here is exactly the same as the original Defender.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Even the gearing here looks the same.
Yeah, so again, as we were saying, because we've kept the transfer case, you've got the high and low ratio gear lever there, and then you've got the lever off to the left, which is similar to a conventional sort of internal combustion automatic where you've basically got drive, neutral, and then reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how do you put this into the different modes, the off-road, and you said like
So on the actual gear lever, there's a swivel, a sort of a bezel around the edge, and what you do is you click those round, you can then select from sport to eco to towing to off-road mode.
Okay. Yeah. And do you have to be stationary to do that, or can you?
No, you can do that on the fly. Yeah, absolutely.
But apart from that, I think this is smashing. I love this idea.
It's very civilised, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very civilised.
I mean, at the end of the day, they were big old diesel things, weren't they? I mean, will this pull the same amount of, I know it's got a lot of torque, but has it still got the pulling power?
Absolutely. I mean, towing capacity on Defender anyway is 3,500 kilos.
Yeah.
So we're exactly the same as that.
So it doesn't change?
It doesn't change anything at all, no.
So why have a diesel engine then?
Well, this is the question. This is the question people are beginning to ask. And if you want something as distinctive as a Defender, and you want something that's going to stand out, but at the same time you want to have something which is slightly more kind of environmentally conscious, then this is the vehicle.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ollie, thank you so much. It's been amazing having a test drive in this twisted EV, electric twisted Defender. What an amazing car.
My pleasure.
So just before we go, can you tell me, is there a website or somewhere people can get in touch if they're interested in having their Defender turned into an electric?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to twistedautomotive.com,
twistedautomotive.com.
Perfect. Yep. There's a bit more information on there as well about sort of conversions, some of the specs, and some of the details. Send us an inquiry. We'll get in touch and get people to come along and have a drive.
Okay. Let's just remind you guys. You ready for this? There we go. I'm going to pull it in there now. There we go. twistedautomotive.com. Guys, let's crack on. See what else we've got to look at. So there you have it, guys. What an amazing day at Salon Prive here at Blenheim Palace in the heart of the Oxfordshire countryside in the UK. We've had a super day. I hope you've enjoyed watching all what we've experienced, and hopefully next year we'll get invited back to do exactly the same yet again with some different cars and some other interesting people. Don't forget, you've been watching me, AJ the Player, and you can subscribe to our channel if you would like, because we have loads of different videos. If you wouldn't mind giving us a thumbs up, that would also be pretty cool. And at the same time, if you've got anything you want to ask me about, there's a comment section down below. Just send in your comments and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, just to mention, we are part of a much bigger organisation. We are part of The Player. And if you'd like a free copy of our bookazine for men, which is called The Player, funny enough, it's a 200-page magazine designed with a hardback cover. You can get the online version, which you are completely free to have a look at because you've been watching me on YouTube. So, and I thank you for that. You just go to www.theplayer.co.uk. 1 second, let me pull it in from here. There you go. See, simple. Go down there, get your name in there. I'm sure you got an email and it will be yours for the looking at. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next few days with someone else.